Well, why wouldn't he ask about the previous husband?
Let's talk about that.
Well, I said it probably never really crossed his mind, and he probably just didn't care.
I disagree. I said that I think part of the reason that he didn't ask was to make the readers wonder why he wouldn't ask, but that also it'd be like a respect thing. Like in today's world, you wouldn't ask someone about their ask too much about someone's dead husband or wife because it might bring back bad memories or something.
Yeah, I said the same thing as Maddie. He didn't want to bring it up because he didn't want her to grieve all over again. She already had to. So yeah, it'd be considered rude or disrespectful.
And also back then, he was given the widowed queen as a reward for defeating the Sphinx, basically. So at that point, he didn't really think about it, I guess, because it's only natural for those times.
I put because all he needed to know was that he was dead and he was king. So, and again with the whole respecting the dead.
Sam, do you have anything?
I had something similar to what you had. It's just it's not polite to ask in the first place. Even if her previous husband didn't die, you would let her explain that to you when she feels time. But then if he died, then it's just not nice to ask at all. How did your husband die?
I agree with that.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Throughout the whole story of Oedipus trying to find out who killed Laius, does it ever cross his mind that it could be him? I put no, he's stubborn and he wanted someone else to take the blame because he didn't really ever think like the previous group said, he just crossed off his mind, he didn't think about it at all.
I think on several different occasions he realized that it might have been him, but he didn't want it to be that way, so he overlooked it and blamed it on other people, like Aubrey said.
That's a good point.
I said he overlooked it because it was a 1 in a million chance that it was him and the king. But it just never crossed his mind.
I think it made cross his mind because Jocasta told him the story how Laius died and where he died, and so he might have thought about it because he went through the same way to get to the city, so I think he thought about
I said the same thing as Chrissy and Lily. After a while, you think with all the details, you would think about that and something would click together and you'd wonder.
Part of it may have just been denial, he didn't want it to be him.
Mm-hmm.
Building off that, I don't think he wanted that to happen because he had a family. To him, I don't think it really registered to him, yeah, I killed my father and I'm having incest with my mother, but we have a family now. We have to think about the well-being of our family. Maybe that was running through his mind when this whole search for the man who killed Laius was going on. In the back of his mind, he was thinking, no, I don't want this to end. I have a family. And then when Jocasta finally, ends everything, it just shatters everything, and he decides to blind himself in exile and all that.
Well, when they were finding out who killed Laius, he didn't connect the dots that Jocasta was his mother because they didn't cross that bridge yet. He still thinks that the king and queen of Corinth are his parents, so he just thinks that he killed the king, or might have killed the king.
I think he's just too caught up in the moment to actually even consider that as him. He took the opportunity of this can make me a great king, and I'll look great finding the real killer of the previous king, and he just didn't even think that it could have been him at all.
I agree.
That's a good point.
Why are Oedipus's children not sent with him on his exile? He was considered a failure to the town, and wouldn't his children created by the incest be seen as failure as well? I said that I think the children should be allowed to make the decision because it wasn't their fault, unlike what happened. But like in today's world, if it happened, they would probably be like made fun of. So it'd be like under their jurisdiction whether they wanted to stay or to go.
You didn't reset the clock.
It didn't really say in the text, I don't think, what exactly happened to the kids. But if they went into exile with their dad, then they would have to start a whole new life. But if they stayed behind, then they'd be like abominations in the society.
I said because it wasn't their fault, they were just the product of the mistake.
I think his children didn't go on exile with him because it would just be more of a bother to him, and out of respect for their father and their brother, even for the slightest respect, they wouldn't go with him, make him suffer even more than he already was.
I can see that.
You got anything on that, Chris?
Yeah, I thought his children weren't a part of the prophecy, that he shouldn't be punished because of what Oedipus did.
Does Oedipus really want the best for his people?
Yes, he does, because like when he first starts this whole thing, the only reason he really wanted to is because he wanted them to have closure about their previous king who died like tragically. So he wanted them to feel comforted about it.
Building on that, like as soon as he figures out what's happened, he does everything he can to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
He goes as far as to defeat a legendary being to make the town at peace.
I mean the Sphinx?
Yeah.
But that was like before he was king.
Before he was king, but...
Yeah, and before he
It was also unintentional.
things happen.
I said that I think he always wanted the best for the people because the people didn't have like anything to do with like the incest, and the city always supported the king because he was wise. So like, he always wanted to do what's best for them. Like when they came to his castle, he tried to do everything that they could.
Very good. All right.